There is something rare about a man who does not chase attention, yet commands respect. Not because he is loud, not because he is aggressive, but because he is centered. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many people confuse it with dominance, volume, or the need to be seen. But real confidence does not rush into the room demanding attention. It enters quietly. It does not try to prove. It does not compete. It simply is. Silent strength is not about suppressing your presence. It is about being so rooted within yourself that you do not need external approval to feel complete. A man with silent confidence does not constantly seek reassurance. He does not measure his worth by how others respond to him. If someone disagrees, he listens without feeling threatened. If someone criticizes, he evaluates without collapsing. His identity is not fragile because it is not built on praise. It is built on self-awareness. He knows his strengths, but he also knows his weaknesses. And instead of hiding them, he accepts them. That acceptance removes insecurity. When insecurity fades, performance fades, and what remains is authenticity. Silent strength is visible in posture, in tone, in timing. It is the pause before speaking. It is the steady eye contact without intimidation. It is the relaxed shoulders in a tense conversation. These are small signals, but they speak loudly. They communicate. I am comfortable with who I am. There is no rush in such a man. He does not interrupt to dominate the conversation. He does not exaggerate stories to inflate his image. He does not laugh too loudly to be noticed. He speaks when he has something meaningful to say, and when he is silent. He is not shrinking. He is observing. True confidence also means not reacting impulsively. When challenged, a man with silent strength does not explode. He considers, he breathes, he chooses. That choice is power. Many react automatically to defend their ego, but ego-driven reactions reveal fear. Calm responses reveal control. When you are secure within yourself, you do not feel the need to win every argument or have the last word. You understand that your value does not decrease because someone else disagrees. There is also humility in real confidence. It does not need to announce itself. It does not constantly remind others of achievements. It allows actions to speak. When mistakes happen, it admits them without shame. When success comes, it receives it without arrogance. This balance makes a person trustworthy. People feel at ease around someone who is steady, who is not swinging between superiority and self-doubt. Silent confidence is built through discipline. It grows when you keep promises to yourself. When you say you will wake up early and you do it. When you commit to improving your health and you follow through. When you face uncomfortable situations instead of avoiding them. Every small act of integrity strengthens your inner foundation. Over time, no longer need to act confident. You simply are confident because your life reflects reliability. This kind of strength cannot be faked for long. It is developed in solitude, in reflection, in the quiet moments where no one is watching. And when it is cultivated deeply, it changes how you move through the world. You no longer chase validation. You no longer compete for attention. You stand firm in your own center, grounded, aware, and at peace with yourself. Calmness is a rare quality in a world that constantly pulls people into reaction. It is easy to remain peaceful when everything is going well. But true calm is revealed in moments of pressure, misunderstanding, or emotional intensity. A calm person does not allow external situations to dictate internal balance. Instead of being carried away by every wave of emotion. He remains steady, aware, and grounded within himself. When tension appears in a conversation, many people feel an immediate urge to defend, explain, or raise their voice. This reaction often comes from fear of losing respect or control. But a calm man understands that raising his voice does not raise his value. He knows that intensity does not equal strength, so he slows down. He listens fully before responding. He allows the other person to express themselves without interruption. That patience creates space. And in that space, trust begins to grow. Calmness creates emotional safety because it removes unpredictability. When someone reacts strongly to small issues, others feel like they are walking on uncertain ground. They become cautious, unsure of what might trigger the next reaction. But when a man is calm, his presence feels stable. His responses are measured. His tone remains steady. Even when he disagrees, he communicates without hostility. This consistency allows others to relax. They know that conversations will not suddenly turn into conflict. They know they can speak openly without fear of overreaction. Being calm does not mean being passive or silent. It does not mean avoiding difficult topics. In fact, it requires courage to stay calm during challenging discussions. It means choosing clarity over chaos. It means expressing thoughts firmly, but respectfully. A calm person can say, "I disagree," without turning it into a battle. He can set boundaries without aggression. He can walk away from unnecessary arguments without feeling weak. That emotional control shows maturity. Calmness also reflects deep self-understanding. When you know yourself well, you are not easily shaken by opinions or temporary situations. You do not feel attacked by every disagreement. You do not interpret every misunderstanding as disrespect. Instead, you evaluate situations with perspective. You ask questions. You seek to understand before being understood. This approach reduces unnecessary tension and builds stronger communication. In relationships, calmness becomes a foundation for stability. Life brings unexpected challenges, stress, pressure, confusion. In those moments, emotional steadiness becomes reassuring. A calm presence communicates, "We can handle this." It provides comfort without needing dramatic gestures. It shows reliability through consistent behavior rather than intense emotion. Developing calmness requires practice. It grows when you learn to pause before speaking. It strengthens when you manage stress in healthy ways, such as reflection, exercise, or quiet time. It deepens when you choose thoughtful responses instead of automatic reactions. Over time, this discipline shapes your character. You become someone who is not controlled by circumstances, but guided by awareness. A calm man does not avoid emotion. He understands it. He allows himself to feel without becoming overwhelmed. He responds instead of reacts. And through that steadiness, he creates an environment where respect, understanding, and trust can naturally develop. Self-control is one of the clearest signs of inner strength. It is easy to act on impulse. It is easy to say the first thing that comes to mind, to follow every emotion the moment it appears, or to react instantly when something feels uncomfortable. But real power is shown in restraint. It is shown in the ability to pause, to think, and to choose your behavior. Instead of being driven by temporary feelings, many people believe power is about influencing others. Yet the greatest form of control is control over yourself. Your thoughts, your habits, your words, your reactions, these shape your life more than any external situation. When you lack self-control, Your mood depends on circumstances. When you develop self-control, your stability comes from within. This difference changes everything. A man who cannot manage his emotions becomes unpredictable. One small disagreement can turn into a large argument. One moment of stress can shift his entire attitude. This instability creates tension in every area of life. But when a man practices self-control, he becomes consistent. His emotions do not disappear, but they no longer dominate him. He feels frustration without letting it guide his actions. He experiences excitement without losing balance. He handles disappointment without collapsing into negativity. Self-control also means managing desires and impulses. Not every urge deserves action. Not every thought deserves expression. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. When you promise yourself that you will wake up early, exercise regularly, improve your skills, or complete important tasks, self-control is what ensures you follow through. Without it, motivation fades quickly. With it, progress becomes steady. There is quiet confidence in a person who keeps their word to themselves. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you strengthen your identity. You begin to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, others can sense that reliability. They see that you are not controlled by every passing mood. They feel that your actions are thoughtful rather than impulsive. Self-control is especially important in communication. Words spoken in anger can create long-lasting damage. But when you take a moment to breathe before responding, you protect both the relationship and your own integrity. You learn to speak clearly without being harsh. You learn to express boundaries without aggression. This balance shows maturity. Developing self-control requires awareness. You must notice your triggers. You must understand the patterns that lead to negative reactions. Instead of blaming others for your behavior, you take responsibility. That responsibility is empowering. It reminds you that you always have a choice in how you respond. Over time, self-control builds resilience. Challenges no longer overwhelm you as easily. Stress does not push you into careless decisions. You become steady in your habits, thoughtful in your words, and intentional in your actions. This steadiness creates trust and respect naturally. When you master yourself, you do not need to force influence or demand recognition. Your discipline speaks through your behavior, and your consistency becomes your strength. Emotional stability is a quality that quietly shapes how others experience you. It is not about suppressing feelings or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about maintaining balance, even when emotions naturally rise and fall. A man who is emotionally stable does not swing between extremes. He does not move from intense enthusiasm to sudden withdrawal without reason. Instead, he remains steady, consistent, and reliable in his behavior. Unpredictability creates uncertainty. When someone's reactions change dramatically from one moment to the next, it becomes difficult to feel comfortable around them. Others may start to wonder what mood they will encounter today. This uncertainty slowly weakens trust. Emotional stability, on the other hand, creates a sense of security. When your responses are measured and thoughtful, people know what to expect. They feel safe expressing themselves because they are not afraid of an exaggerated reaction. Stability does not mean you never feel frustration, disappointment, or stress. It means you handle these emotions with awareness instead of allowing temporary feelings to control your words or decisions. You pause. You reflect. You choose a response that aligns with your values rather than reacting based on impulse. This ability to regulate emotions shows maturity. It demonstrates that you are guided by principles, not by passing moods. Consistency is deeply reassuring. When your actions match your words repeatedly over time, people begin to trust your character. If you say you will call, you call. If you promise support, you provide it. If you disagree, you communicate respectfully. This predictable strength builds confidence in your presence. It shows that you are dependable, not only in good moments, but also during challenges. Emotional stability also reduces unnecessary conflict. Many arguments begin not because of the issue itself, but because of how it is handled. A calm and steady response can prevent small misunderstandings from becoming larger problems. By listening carefully and speaking clearly, you create space for understanding instead of tension. This balanced approach strengthens communication and deepens mutual respect. Another important part of emotional stability is resilience. Life brings pressure, unexpected changes, and occasional setbacks. A stable person does not collapse under difficulty. He may feel disappointment, but he does not allow it to define him. He adjusts, learns, and continues moving forward. This resilience inspires confidence in those around him. It sends a quiet message that challenges can be faced without panic. Emotional stability also reflects self-awareness. When you understand your own patterns and triggers, you are less likely to be controlled by them. You recognize when stress is building and take healthy steps to manage it. You value reflection, rest, and clear communication. Over time, this awareness strengthens your inner foundation. People naturally feel drawn to steady energy. It creates an atmosphere of trust and comfort. When you are balanced, others do not need to guess where they stand with you. They experience consistency in your tone, your actions, and your attitude. That consistency becomes a quiet strength that shapes every interaction in a positive and lasting way. Presence is a quality that cannot be manufactured through noise or performance. It is not created by speaking the loudest, dressing the flashiest, or constantly trying to stand out. True presence comes from inner alignment. It comes from being fully grounded in who you are, without the need to impress or seek constant approval. When a man has strong presence, people feel it immediately, even before he says a word. Attention can be gained in many ways. Social media, bold statements, dramatic reactions, these things easily capture eyes for a moment. But attention is temporary. It fades as quickly as it appears. Presence, on the other hand, leaves a lasting impression. It is built through consistency, self-respect, and calm awareness. A man with presence does not compete for the spotlight. He does not force his opinions into every conversation. Instead, when he speaks, people naturally listen because his words carry weight. One of the reasons presence is powerful is because it reflects inner balance. When you are comfortable with yourself, you do not feel pressure to prove your value. You are not comparing yourself to others constantly. You are not measuring your worth by how much recognition you receive. This freedom from comparison allows you to relax. And in that relaxed state, your energy becomes steady and composed. Others sense that steadiness and respond to it with respect. Presence is also connected to focus. When you give someone your full attention during a conversation without checking your phone or looking around the room, you communicate respect. When you listen carefully, instead of planning your next response. You show confidence. You are not in a hurry to dominate the discussion. You are secure enough to allow space. That space makes your contribution more meaningful when you choose to speak. Body language plays an important role in presence. Standing upright, maintaining calm eye contact, and moving with intention all signal self-assurance. These subtle cues communicate that you are comfortable in your environment. They show that you are aware, but not anxious. You do not shrink yourself to avoid notice, and you do not exaggerate gestures to demand it. This natural balance creates a quiet authority. Another element of presence is emotional awareness. When challenges arise, a man with presence does not disappear or overreact. He remains steady. He addresses situations thoughtfully. His responses are aligned with his values, not influenced by pressure from others. This reliability strengthens trust. People begin to associate his presence with stability and clarity. Developing presence requires self-discipline and reflection. It grows when you build habits that strengthen your mind and body. It deepens when you act with integrity, even when no one is watching. Over time, you no longer need external validation to feel secure. You carry your confidence internally. When you stop chasing attention, something changes. You move differently. You speak differently. Your silence becomes comfortable instead of awkward. And in that quiet confidence, your presence becomes more powerful than any attempt to stand out. In the end, confidence, calm control, stability, and presence are not techniques to impress others. They are disciplines to strengthen yourself. They are not masks you wear in public. They are habits you build in private. When these qualities become part of your character, admiration is no longer something you chase. It becomes something that naturally follows. Confidence allows you to stand firm without arrogance. Calmness allows you to face tension without losing balance. Self-control allows you to respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally. Emotional stability allows others to trust your consistency. And presence allows you to command respect without demanding it. These traits are not developed overnight. They are built through daily practice, through choosing patience over impulse, awareness over ego, discipline over distraction. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you keep your word to yourself, every time you remain steady under pressure, you are strengthening your foundation. The world does not need more noise. It needs more grounded individuals. It needs men who are secure enough to listen, strong enough to stay calm, and disciplined enough to master themselves. When you become that man, you do not need to announce your value. It is felt in your energy, seen in your actions, and recognized in your silence. Do not focus on being admired. Focus on becoming balanced. Do not try to control the world around you. Learn to control the world within you, because when your inner world is stable, your outer world begins to reflect that strength. And in that quiet strength, respect arrives naturally, not forced, not demanded, but earned.